Kohe hakkame inglise keeles kõik rääkima, et korralikult aru saaks. We are still waiting for some outstanding members of a demo jury, but first I'll tell you about this song which we have been hearing for the past couple of minutes. Siis tuleb ilma. Kõik on korras, jah. It's this song by Estonian band Bombillas was sent to the place I work at, Raadio 2, as a demo, and we loved it so much it ended up on our A-lists. It ended up on television. The most famous Estonian TV cup had this song as its ringtone. And at the end of the year, I organize a big televised awards ceremony. And we decided this song should be given an award for Demo of the Year. So we phoned up the guy who sent us the demo and said, hello, you have won an award, please come and perform the song on television. And he tells us, well, to tell you the truth, there is no band. I just made it with my friend in my bedroom. He said, no. Find some friends who look like band. Come and perform, it will be fun. And they did, and it was fun. And now they are a proper touring band, 2 albums under the belt, just because one demo and just because someone believed in it. So we are here now to listen to some demos by mostly Estonian, but I've seen Latvian and Russian, Ukrainian music here as well, and Finnish, of course. And we'll try to figure out what's good and what's not. And for that, this is mostly the bands, and and this is the jury. Olafur Pall Gunnarsson from Icelandic Radio, David Howell from Fat Cat Records, Pip Newby from Pias, Florian Schröter from BMG, Keria Kalea, Mikrek, and Nyassa from Radio Helsinki. So many of you, and we have so little time, and about 50 demos. We can't listen to them all. So if we are listening to a track, afterwards I'll ask you for a comment. If you don't have a comment, you can pass. But if you do something to say, do you have something to say? Please say. And it's a blind test. This is the demo box. I'll ask you to each pick one record. Right.
I have it already.
No. You won't have it anyway. We are going to play these tracks. Yeah. Because it's such a bad job selecting, from 50 records, just I don't know, 10 or how much time do we have? Please collect this. Boondocks. If you really like a demo, you can have it, of course, I think. But the chances are the band is here, so they have a spare copy for you as well. But let's start with this.
only friend now. Don't wanna have anyone else. There couldn't be anyone cooler. At least I can have fun myself. The TV's just ordinary. The radio's my last line. But cigarettes are so necessary. At least they don't talk to me. It's how you smell when I'm around. The other girls might give me so around. The way you act makes me feel really calm. But I am lying to America. Cling to me. 'Cause cigarettes are my only friend now. Don't wanna have anyone else. There can be anyone cooler. At least I can have fun myself. The TV's just ordinary. The radio's like last time on. But cigarettes are so necessary. At least they don't talk to me.
So this was, and I hate doing this. It's written on the record and not on the package, but it was the Boondocks, Cigarettes Are My Only Friends. Nyasa, how did you like it?
Well, cigarettes, Smoke on the Water. Wasn't it Smoke on the Water? Was it Deep Purple? No?
No.
Okay. It reminded me of something like Primus back in the late 80s, and sort of like ironic metal, sort of like a little bit intellectual. But you know, of course, the name Cigarettes Are My Only Friend. Well, it's hard to say. The riff was going down very well. Of course, the thing was technically, it wasn't really metal. Maybe it was sounded mentioned to be sort of like a lo-fi type of thing. But I didn't really get the other part of the song when it went to that ecstatic feeling, or where the guy was not anymore singing. Was it a solo? I guess in heavy metal you should have, you know, going with the lead guitar player, something like that. It was interesting, but something was missing. Maybe the structure.
Yeah, I think it's a very competent song, you know, it's very much enthralled to... Hey, is this working? Is this on? Cool. It's a very competent song, but it didn't actually excite me in any sort of way. It's very straightforward, very much enthralled to Queens of Stone Age and the sound of the New Arctic Monkeys record. It was fine, but there was just nothing in there that really excited me. I think it doesn't really feel like the band totally meant it, you know. It felt very much like they're sort of, a homage to a bunch of other bands rather than being their own sort of artist.
Does it work? Yeah. I would just add something. I like this C part actually most, so I would like a part of it out and put it to the intro, for example. These chords played by the chord guitar is a bit too simple for me personally. So I would like said to take something out of the C part to the beginning. And I think the chorus is not very strong. It could be even more worked up a bit, just to be a bit more expressive and have some catchy hook line or something. I mean, I can imagine that this song could be like a little hit, but still like in the veins of rock and a bit metal, hard rock. So it's a good demo to it's worth to keep on working on it, I think.
Kere?
Yeah, it sounds, the title is very rock and roll. The lyrics are rock and roll. I think the chorus part is nice. I think it kind of drops a bit. It doesn't get the energy flowing all the time, but I also think that with a little tweaking, it could be nicer. Yeah.
Yes, it's a demo. I come from the radio, and in the Icelandic radio, we have this policy, especially with new Icelandic music, that if we get the demo, we try to play as much of it as we can in a special program. And yes, I would play this song as it is at least once, if it was an Icelandic song. And I like the idea, but it's a demo. It could do something with some production, and if it was produced right, it could be something that could be played more often on the radio, I think.
I personally think it's produced all right for me. It's not really in the kind of area of something I'm interested in, but I can hear that it's it's really competent. They've got a good understanding of structure, but I think, like Pip said, it doesn't really bring anything new to what it's doing. It's kind of quite defined by its influences. But it's okay what it's doing. It's just not something for me, really.
Thank you. This was Boondocks and the commentaries. The next demo sounds like this.
Let me go and get into my feelings for a moment, 'cause I know I can have it, will come to where I go. I could try to ignore, but I'd rather not even go there. Nothing else is as good than a cocktail and night show. I'd like a coffee, I'd like a coffee, give me the coffee.
So we went from cigarettes to coffee. This was Werfel. Olli, how did you like it?
I used to like cigarettes more than coffee, but now I like coffee more than cigarettes. I kind of liked it, and because I come from the radio, this sounds a bit like radio. It's but it sounds like there's nothing new. But I kind of like it, and back to Icelandic music, because we have this policy of playing a lot of Icelandic music. We play around 50% of the music we play on the radio is Icelandic music. So I would say if this was a fully produced Icelandic song, we would probably play it a bit.
It sounds to me totally like it was made for radio. Much too much so for me. For me it's far too mediocre. Sounds like it was made for Starbucks or something. And obviously it sounds like churches and some other things like that. I think the last two songs I would probably have enjoyed a lot more if they were actually sung in Estonian rather than sung in English. I mean, it sounds like it's really pandering to a more Western European audience, and I think perhaps I want to hear something of where it's from, And I think you have to think about the audience you're trying to appeal to, and personally, I hear enough of that in England and elsewhere, and the things that I'd like to listen to or to find from here to discover would be things that have a little bit of the soul of the place about them. And I don't see why everyone has to sing in English. It's like you don't have to do that global thing. That's me anyway.
I kind of got what the artist was trying to do, but I don't think it was massively successful, to be honest. I just think if you're going to try and make those sorts of big radio hits, then you've got to be really fucking good, and the song's got to be incredible, and I just didn't think that song was strong enough. It started off well, and I was really excited for the chorus to come in, but then when the chorus came in, it felt like a massive letdown to me. I just didn't think lyrically it was really saying anything. I know it's quite a straightforward song, but I think there could have been so many other elements. It was just a really flat, really repetitive, and it just didn't really do very much for me at all.
I agree. I think I like the backing track. I think it's great, and there could be a hit made out of it. So it's a bit shame that it's like a very simple lyrics and the melody's not very creative. But the backing track is great, so keep on working on it.
There's a lot of potential in there, but I just think it needs so much work. Also, in terms of production, on that sort of music, the vocals, this is just a minor point, but the vocals should be much higher in the mix. I kind of felt like, the voice got lost quite a lot amongst the backing track.
I thought it has a nice vibe to it, nice sound to it. I was working just the last week to pitch a song for a coffee commercial. Too bad I didn't hear it then. But if it just has just like a little bit, I don't know, like a more punch in the chorus, I guess that would be cool.
Yeah, the problem with pop music is that it's so formula. It's so you have to have certain things in it, and if they are too obvious, like they were here, then it sounds suddenly you don't get any kicks. I guess for the radio hit nowadays you should have 8 seconds of sort of like a hook type of thing, that there should be 3 hooks in the song, and this had only let's say 1 or half of it, and it would have been a nice sort of like a pop hit if it would have been sang in Estonian. Ma arvastan kohvik, ma arvastan kohvik. The same in Estonian. Sorry, I was missing the Estonian languages in school. We didn't have any, but okay. Hey, work. This was just a demo. Next one.
Yeah, the next one sounds like this.
This is a story of my childhood. My happy childhood. Happy childhood story. This is my life.
I was raised by the West, born in the East. Even at its best was a beggar's feast. So I came out starving for everything shiny. Can't stop carving. Oh, don't mind me. The East to West. The East to West. The East to West. The East to West. Burnt down Vault House with my bouncy castle. Teenage graffiti balls with the player hustle. All the music on tape, recorded on the radio. Had to know the dates. The East to West. The East to West. The East to West. The East to West. Days on the streets since I turned 8. 16 on the beat. No time to wait. Had to swing on by. Cause had no cell phone. Still what to try. Girls wanted to bone. The East to West. The beast, the best. The East to West. The East to West. First club at 13. Straight on the guest list. Was my true scene, or so I wish. Bloody girls all around, most of them older.
Should we listen or should we talk?
Please carry on, honestly.
Yeah.
The East to West. The East to West. The East to West. The East to West. Packing up my bag. Skip the goodbyes. Possibly a drag. Let's hope this flies. Watch all the dread. Passing by the window. New life is ahead. Fame bitches and flow. The East to West.
So Pip, this is Bartolomeo Major, East to West.
Wow. I'm not quite sure what just happened. To put it mildly, that needed a lot of work. There's a game that me and my friends play in taxis where we sit and make songs on GarageBand, and they often sound quite a lot like that. You've got 5 minutes to make a song, it's fucking brilliant, you should play it sometime. But yeah, wow. It needs a lot of work. The sounds being used felt incredibly basic. It was just one very simple drum loop. It sounded very generic. It sounded very... it sounded like there wasn't an enormous amount of effort put into it. I didn't make much of the lyrics. I think if you're going to try and do that sort of thing, you've got to say something, and for me, it just had no impact whatsoever.
David.
We get sent probably about 100 or so demos every week on Fat Cat, and we listen to every single demo. And the best ones we put up on our website, which we set up 12 years ago, a demo site where we would showcase the best music we get sent. and some artists that we've ended up signing that have ended up doing really well, like Twilight Sad and Frightened Rabbit, have come through that process. They've sent demos in, and we obviously getting that much material through the post and through email and into our SoundCloud Dropbox. There's an awful lot that you just go, it just sounds like the first 2 tracks that either isn't somewhere, an area that you're interested in, or just sounds really generic and bland. And then you also get things that sound very twisted or very wrong, and we keep those things, and we've got a box called Box 13, which is kind of like Area 101 or Room 101 or something, and it's kind of all the most mad, wrong, fucked sounding things that we've ever been sent. And some of those things are like, we listen to a lot. There's like a weird fascination I have for that stuff, because it's like when someone shows you their diary and they're putting there's something really raw and kind of that. I mean, that's a really naive, clumsy, clunky, sonically crude track, but so you can hear someone's personality in it, and you can hear a lot of, they might not have thought hugely about it, but they're putting themselves on the line there, and they've just, you're listening to someone's story, and there is something there that it's not anything we'd ever release or ever would promote or anything, but there's something there that I do find fascinating, just in a weird, quirky way, and to me, I'd rather listen to something like that than the first 2 tracks, just because I'm twisted, I suppose.
Yes, I have nothing to say about this.
Oh my God, nothing to say about it. First of all, I thought this must be a ghetto house classic. Back in the 80s, Detroit, or, Philadelphia, Parkside Killers coming on. Boom, boom, boom. Heavy duty, bass drums kicking that, everything is so over the top that it's, the shit is real, nobody believes it. It's so real that nobody believes it, it's so out of the top. And actually this comes to the point which I've been thinking about, what is shit? We have on our radio station, Radio Helsinki, one of our most popular programs is a program called Shit List. There's a DJ who speaks like this, and he starts to sing with another guy who sings like on top of all the hits. And there are something like this, happening in most of the songs. Somebody has sent a demo that there's nothing about, some sort of sense in it, like, people rapping or doing something like Anton Maiden, a guy from middle of Sweden who did demos out of Iron Maiden's music with his home drum machine and all that. Unfortunately, poor Anton killed himself. I don't want to be rude to this guy. Keep yourself real, like they said in this Wire. Keep it real. But it could have been, over the top, some sort of like a real weird thing if it would have been something in it. If the rap would have been something, that would have been so over the top that nobody really understands, like most of the best rappers nowadays do. They lyrically paint such things that nobody really understands, or then the beat would have been so, clumsy and crude and something like hooking. It had its 5 seconds, but not 5 minutes.
As the song was playing, I was like, I could picture this in a crazy futuristic film in a weird club. Someone's like walking through as they're going to their next, action motion. It was interesting.
Finally, I think we need to realize that it gets some nice attention from here and from you guys. So perhaps there's something interesting, and that's why YouTube is made for, I guess. So go for it.
Thank you.
The next demo. So far, it's quite an eclectic mix, don't you think? This is Von Kuusk and his track Tipptund, which means rush hour. Who's got an opinion on this one?
I could start. You know, this is that kind of music that has to have so much talent and sort of like, you know, superior playing skills that, well, we've heard this kind of music before, and, you know, learn more.
Well, I think on the other hand, it's the beginning and until the second part was starting. I could imagine it's like a trailer or like a score movie for like a US series, like how's it called with David Hasselhoff again? Baywatch, yeah. Knight Rider, yeah. Why not this kind of style? Why not making in this direction?
Yeah, but if you think about all those, you know, the scoring music, then mostly they are so brilliantly played, even though they sound, first of all, knife. This sounded knife, first of all, but it wasn't played brilliantly.
That's true.
Yes, in my ears it's some kind of a space jazz rock, and you know, it was. I thought it was well done. It's kind of maybe more music for other musicians that have learned a lot in music schools, but I kind of liked it.
It's probably one of the ones that would be close to Bag 13, but wouldn't quite get in there for me. I think if you'd done like a whole load of ketamine and your ears had kind of closed up, that's, you know, it sounded totally flat as a pancake dynamically, and I don't know, I was just feeling like I was drifting into a kind of porn movie or something, or a car chase cop scene thing, or I don't know, Miami Vice, something like that. It wasn't, I don't know, it was just not quite wrong enough and nowhere near right enough for me.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add to really what everybody else has already said. It was fine. It doesn't provoke any sort of strong emotion in me. It didn't feel massively competent, and I'm a guy who's obsessed with the song, and that wasn't one. So, yeah, I kind of leave it at that, I think.
Kerja?
Yeah, I'll just pass.
Okay. Was Von Kuusk. and something completely different. I believe this was a track by Epifolium. I will check. Yes, Epifolium Piiri Jüri. Who of you loved this song?
Who what?
Did you love this?
No.
Why?
Take something else for me to actually love love music than this. But I was thinking about if it could be used in like on television when they are, coming across some texted messages or something like that. It's and this is from here. It's Estonian.
Yes.
Yes, maybe it's I don't know, the most Estonian music we have heard today, or what? It's like some folk. It's maybe Estonian folk music. I'm not an expert in Estonian folk music.
Yeah, for me, initially I was kind of thinking I was going to like it. The sound sort of took my ear to start with. Is it a dulcimer or is it a zither or something? The instrument.
I'm not sure really.
Maybe kantele.
What's it called?
Kantele.
Kantele. Okay,
that's
yeah.
sort of
Yeah, I mean I've heard like Mari Kalkin sort of playing a similar instrument, but very quickly it just became apparent that it was going to be kind of it didn't go anywhere, and sonically it was pretty clumsy, and it just didn't. I would like to have heard a voice or something, or it to have developed in some way that didn't just seem kind of a little bit plodding, and I don't know, just lacked a sense of direction and any kind of real interesting dynamics, really.
Yeah, it just didn't really have a point of difference for me. It didn't have a strong. If you're going to make instrumental music, you've got to have something strong melodically happening. There wasn't any particularly apparent motif. The song didn't move anywhere for me. It kind of it was fine, but there's just nothing exciting. There's no point of tension or release or surprise throughout the whole thing. It was competently played, but I can't really be more flattering than that, unfortunately.
I can imagine it that some people could like this kind of music. For example, within some kind of mood sampler for relaxing or like whatever, making yoga or something. Why not? It reminds me a bit of like southern German or like Alpic music. It's almost quite similar. So I like this instrument, but I wouldn't hear it in my private time. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a nice vibe to it, but then kind of like as well was expecting maybe something else, something more. Maybe this idea can be developed with voice or something.
The one thing again with folk music, for example, which this I guess started from, and it sounded like a sort of like an. It could have been a Finnish or Estonian folk song which was played and all that. It's music that was made originally before music was recorded, so it should have that sort of like a respect for the instruments, and that is some sort of a. You get into this kind of a funny feeling when you're hearing all the time all kind of different kind of music, and suddenly you just hear that, oh, this is sort of like this is not working today. Why isn't it working today? That's the main question that this artist has to ask him or herself. What is the thing that would be interesting for this kind of audience or for the people who are living here in 2014? What is the thing that you want to play for them? Where you get the hook that opens up their ears for your music? That's the main question for everybody who makes music.
Epifolium Piiri Jyri. Let's listen to this. This is track number 6. This music is from Estonia, Kreatiivmootor, and the track was called Mental Bau. Whatever that means, I don't know. Florian?
It sounds like a German word, Metallbau, like construction out of metal, steel.
Yeah, mental Bau.
Mental Bau.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard before. So
Okay.
well, it's very hard stuff, and it hasn't got better. The beginning sounded like interesting. I think he can use Logic or Pro Tools, and he's able to, or she is able to use different sounds, and has a good ear for sound effects. But the rest is a bit too heavy for me. So.
To me, the whole thing sounded quite contrived. It was trying too hard to be experimental. You know, I think it would have been a perfectly reasonable instrumental break during an album, like a segue or something between tracks. But it was just kind of too much of it. You know, it sounded like it could have soundtracked sort of a nightmare sequence in some post-industrial science fiction movie or something like that, which is no bad thing. But for me, there's no sort of commercial element to that. It's not quite interesting enough to sort of really prick up your ears.
It's kind of a weird one. I was quite interested by the start. I thought it was going to go. It had that sort of sound of something from maybe like the earlier mid '90s, like a Den Haag electronics thing, or something from Vienna or Italy. And I was quite in. I didn't like the guitar sound too much, but I quite liked the fact that it went somewhere different with that. And then the vocal that kind of reminded me of like A&R from the Sugar Cubes, or it was okay. I didn't think it's hard to talk about how things sound sonically here because I can actually only hear that speaker pretty much. So it's kind of difficult to judge things properly production wise, but. It was interesting. It was interesting without kind of making me feel, it didn't floor me, and it didn't, dynamically it sort of sounded like it lacked something. But it was okay.
Yes, it's a bit interesting, and it's a bit hard to listen to these tracks and tell your opinion right away with the audience and maybe. With the artists in the room, and sometimes artists, they come to my office and say, play this is my new song, it's a fantastic song, just have a listen. So it's always difficult. And yes, the voice was a bit like Einar from the Sugar Cubes, and I think the story goes that the record company was always trying to get rid of him from the band because he was the annoying guy. And it meant me maybe a bit of Marky Smith also, it was something like that. So not my cup of tea, but yes, interesting. And I agree, it's really difficult sitting here and hearing like the sound quality of the recording. So it's maybe hard.
That speaker's fine. It's just that one's. It's like you're sort of standing on a stage without the monitors on.
We actually have one speaker only. It's all mono.
Yeah. Yes, let's go back to mono.
I liked it. I was about to love it. No, I don't love it, but I liked it because it had a real good groove, and it reminded me of sort of like New York left field music that was meant to be sort of like distracted sound and a little bit challenging, sort of like a punk flavor. James Last and maybe a little bit of Arthur Russell type of thinking about the sound. It was interesting. Do we have to understand the music all the time? It had a groove. It felt something. I liked it.
I really like the beginning a lot. I thought it's gonna go somewhere more rock or punk, but it didn't, which is fine too. It's a very interesting mix of music we have. I think it's very hard when we're all like very harsh. I just think, you know, there's different opinions, and then just keep working and taking it in is like, what can you do better?
All right, thank you. This was Creative Motor. I now ask you to pick another record. I think we have time for 3 or 4, but let's see. Mm-hmm.
Can I decide for the name first?
Okay. Mm-hmm. You have to look. Go on. Okay. Thank you. Mhm. Mhm. And we're going to play them in that order. Yeah.
Real professional rap superstar presents original master. Throw your junk in the trunk, it's ride or die. Riders never die, just multiply. Leave no survivors for the fame in my hands. The world is mine, I'll penetrate it with my both hands. Can be a rap superstar so easy. Can't go the channel, sign all the things. Now forget the lyrics, change on the physics. Then it feels good to be a gangster. I go past the pieces. My cheek is a kiss and the brush is my penis. My hands are golden, so I ride like Jesus. Leave your legs open, take it to Venus. I'll be still wearing socks that's please like my leaders. They will never see us, cause I'm faster than light, and I'm easily cold. You're always on my mind like my password. I hope you so much I make your ass hurt. Let's log in together and unblock forever. Internet explorers, the future's above us. Take off like a rocket. Always on my dick, in my pocket. Real top still crashing, the beat smashing, the real mashing. Never going past it. Crush it down, my fingers full of crystal. Lick the blood, the taste is so blissful. Open your chakras, I turn into one cyclops. My name is Cash Tommy, and this is for the suckers.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Good. This guy used to call himself Tommy Cash, and now he calls himself Cash Tommy. And the track is Rap Superstar. Nyasa, you used to be a rapper.
Rap the answer.
No, Rasputin. Was this Rasputin? No. Was this Kanye West? First of all, I thought he was taking piss out of Kanye West type of, I'm God. But suddenly he just, probably he was taking amphetamine and got hooked with the drum machine, Listen here, woo-hoo. And then it turned out to be, we call it in Finland piripolka, which is that sort of like a high energy trance music which is danced all night by the force of amphetamine. So, well, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Kerea?
Well, as a sub-publisher for EMI, I hope he cleared the Enya background in it and coordinated that. You know what? As long as you're true to yourself and you really feel that, then just, go for it. You make it even crazier, like go all out. I don't know. Just if that's who you are, then just keep going. And that's for everyone, like just be true to yourself and true whatever. Just
I have to say I like the basic idea a lot. I just to use this sample or just to have a little remix. Of course the ability isn't there, unfortunately, perhaps. But I like the basic idea. So.
Wow, this is definitely not my kind of music, and I'm often so, especially when I'm in other countries and listening to the radio, I don't know what the hell is going on really. Why is this song on the radio? How does this song come on the radio? So I really don't want to talk about the song. I just wanted to mention there's a thing at home in Iceland. The artists, they are thinking about if they should sing in Icelandic or English, and I have spoken to a lot of people that have heard like Icelandic versions of songs in Icelandic, and then they are translated into English because the artist is trying to get abroad. And I don't know really what I think about that. It's just their decision. But I like when I hear, non-English speaking people singing in their own, in English, that they have their own accent, like Björk has always done, for example. So I kind of like that. I like the accent.
I'm not going to be too critical about this person because I have a feeling they probably might follow me back to my hotel room and stab me with one of those little 3-inch pen knives or something. There's a friend of mine who's a famous film director now, and he did loads of drugs at Reading one year and went to see an Orbital gig, and he was just off his face, and he loved it. He thought it was the best thing he'd ever seen, but no one else was watching. And then he realised, or someone told him, that actually, they have those like light things on their heads, their headband with the lights. It was just some stage technician setting up the next set for someone there. It wasn't actually Orbital. And I feel like there's something there, like that disjunction between what you have in your head and what other people hear. That's what I got for it. I'm not going to say any more about.
You know what? There are the building blocks of a hit record in that. It's kind of, I've actually probably enjoyed that track more than anything else we've heard on this demo panel, because it does feel like there's kind of an intention there. If it had, like, aside from the Enya sample, which is obviously an enormous tune, it's obviously massively recognisable. If there's one big vocal hook on there, I kind of could see it working. It would be one of those high energy, like fucking tons of pills, like eating your fucking nose, sort of night out jobs. But there's definitely something there. But I think also kind of with the hip hop element of it, maybe it's worth it. I don't know, is that an Estonian act or?
Yes.
Yeah. I think one of the main tenets of hip hop is like credibility and honesty, and I just don't think you can have that sort of. you can't use idiom in quite the same way you would if you're not speaking your mother tongue. I actually think it's worth reapproaching it and actually like trying to be a little bit more honest and not trying to pander to some other perceived audience. I think, you know what, if you reapproach that song, there's a lot of central building blocks that could be worked on.
It's funny about the rap music or hip hop music. You know, I hear a lot of music and hip hop coming from all around the world. And what is the best part of it is that you hear something that is coming from the native country. You know, if the East Africans rap, they got something from their own culture in it, and that's good. You don't have to, you know. I don't like when people are rapping in English because it sounds stupid, because English is spoken in those places where the hip hop was born, you know. And there was the slang. It meant something. It was from the streets, from that culture. You can't take the culture and, you know, just produce it. Do it yourself.
Thank you. Cash to me. Cash to me. I think we have time for one record, and it sounds like this. This was Sybil Wayne, and the track was called Until Dawn. I saw some movement in a jury. You were almost dancing, almost everybody. Pip, how did you like it?
I thought that most of that was really good. I think the female vocal is great. I just don't know where the song went at the end. I thought it was just going to be a short bridge and then it just goes into this massive instrumental wig out. I don't know why that happened structurally. It started off so well and there is a hook in there, and I don't know why she didn't decide to carry on and develop upon that. I think that's the real strength of it. From a personal point of view, I thought I'd have liked to have known what she was singing. it kind of the diction on the vocals wasn't so clear. I think that could be worked on a lot. But I think melodically, the bits that I really liked in that song. I'd love to go and see her play live. So yeah, thumbs up from me.
David?
Didn't really do very much for me. It's not nothing that I'm kind of particularly interested in, that sound. I kind of, there was something when she started singing, it almost was like, I don't know, like Joan Jett covering Subterranean Homesick Blues or something, somehow there, you know, the style of the singing, but it's just not my bag really, so it's kind of hard for me to comment too much.
Yes, I kind of liked it in the beginning, but then not so much. I've heard so much rock through my life, and I would not cry if I would never hear that song again. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, when this demo would become in my or get in my inbox, including an invitation to a show, I would agree. I think I would follow and see and check them out. Finally, but I know that I would look for something special. I think this it's a good genre I like personally, but I'm afraid it could be not special enough. So the show would show.
Kyria?
I liked it. I just think it should have like a bigger, I don't know, like something like another part. I don't know, like a chorus or like the hook, like a verse, and then like the hook should be bigger, and then it would be even better. But I think it's a very good like start. I like the style personally, so I like the vocal as well.
The song was a little bit slow, but it wasn't slow enough to be sort of like a stoner metal. Or then it could have been a little bit faster and more dynamic and a little bit action to it. Then it would have rocked me. It's 5 o'clock. TikTok.
I would like to add one more thing. I'm really pleased to be here, and don't, if you who made these songs are here in the audience, don't let us drag you down in any way. It's only our opinions, and so keep on rocking in the free world.
Thank you. Should we listen to one more track?
Sure.
Helen wants to listen to a track, so...
Is it hers?
Yeah. But the band we just listened to was Sibyl Wayne. And now this. This is also a band from Estonia, Badass Yuki and America. Your final words, please.
I kind of enjoyed it. It sounds like something you need to hear properly in stereo. I mean, I'm hearing it in one ear out of a mono speaker, and it's very dense. It sounds like there's a lot going on texturally in it. But I like music when there is a sense of friction that comes out of it, and when you kind of, it makes you sort of have to check yourself and think what's happening here. Like when that kind of slow, kind of glam shuffle kind of beat came in, that was really interesting, and I quite liked what was going on with the vocal. It's interesting. I'd like to hear it in headphones, really, in stereo, and you know.
Okay.
Yes, it's he is singing in Estonian.
No, it's in American.
America.
No, I didn't hear it really.
I heard him say American, but I didn't. Everything else sounded.
It was in English, yeah.
Was it?
In
Yeah.
English. I have to talk to my English teacher. I quite liked it, but I was listening to it in Estonian, and I was imagining he is missing his wife or something, you know. So I liked it.
Good.
It was quite hypnotic. I'm not sure I entirely understood it. Like language issues aside or whatever, I'm not entirely sure what the artist was aiming for. There was something about it. It sort of, in a weird way, it does have a hook to it, but musically not massively up my street. But I think there's probably something there. I'm just really fucking miserable. Sorry.
Well, I appreciate this flow and as well. Like you could just calm down and just let inspire yourself. So the beginning, I think, just the end was quite nice. I mean, could have last for even
Was
more
that
10
the end,
minutes.
or did it carry on for another 5 minutes or
Carried on
something?
for another 2 minutes, I think, but yeah.
I like when you feel like you're lost in a piece of music, when you don't know all the reference points. Like a lot of the music we've listened to today, you kind of know where you are. And
You can listen to it on your headphones.
I will.
Please. Good.
I was finished, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was also very different. I kind of liked the vibe of it. It was darker. I would want to see it live. I would want to see how it sounds live.
They were on yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh, missed it. Yeah.
If only we could travel back in time, eh?
Yeah, it's cool.
It was interesting, and probably this glitter beat, the stomping thing, is something that reminds me so much of great things that happened in 70s, like Iggy Pop, Sister Midnight, and all that kind of stuff. So they were on the right track. Probably more of this sort of like a pressure feeling made by guitar. I would have liked more of that stuff, but then again, you know, those they remind me of those good old gothic years, and sort of like a funny band called Laibach coming from Slovenia. Well, interesting stuff. Thank you.
And thank you, Nyasa, Keria, Florian, Pip, David, and Olli, for listening to the music. Thank you.
Don't take us that seriously.
Before we go, is this working? I have an announcement. First of all, Badass Yuki was brilliant last night. Like my favorite thing. I mean, I love this record. I have to say that. And Von Kuusk is a great band.
I hope you got a good percentage.
All right, okay. But my message here is that 5:15 we meet downstairs. Those of you who want to come to the Ukrainian Cultural Center, which is going to be amazing atmospheric location, and there are 2 Ukrainian bands playing there. So if you want to come, and the Ukrainian ambassador is going to be there and welcome you all. And what you can do there actually is to have an excursion in the center. It's a medieval wonderful building with a little church next to it, and there's Easter eggs painting and stuff like that. So we could all have an excursion to go there. We meet, let's make it 5:20 because it's 5:09 already. So whoever wants to go, we walk into Old Town 5:20 downstairs. Thank you for a gloomy panel. Next time be happier. but thanks for participating.